To be a 1,000 crore company in the next 4 or 5 years.
When you joined, what was the foundry like, and what were the next couple of 5-7 years like, expansion after expansion?
We just had flow molding. 2009, 2010, we thought of expansion into ductile iron. We put up our induction furnace. We bought a molding line. We put up new shot blasting machines, and that's how the expansion started.
Why did manhole covers, the industry expand so much?
So I think it has more to do with
What is your favorite machine at your foundry?
my 4 molding machines.
4 molding machines.
They are the best machines I have.
Right.
I think the future is bright. India will continue to remain the biggest supplier for manhole covers.
If a person today is maybe 20, 25 years old, 30 years old in the industry, what would you say to them as to maybe to achieve the growth that your company has?
I think
So if there's one thing I have learned over the last 50 episodes of the Foundry podcast, it is marketing. And that's why I'm ready to start a full-scale marketing agency for the foundry industry. So whether it's LinkedIn or YouTube or WhatsApp or email, we've got you covered. Whether you're a foundry looking to sell your castings or a foundry supplier looking to market your product, we are the people for the job. You can reach out to me through the number in the description to book a free marketing consultancy call and understand how we can take your business to the next level. And now, let's get back to the episode. We're here in Calcutta today, which is the birthplace of the Indian Foundry Industry, and also happens to be the go-to hub for manhole covers, not only in India, but in the world.
yes.
So we're sitting here with one of the pioneers of manhole covers, of course. Over the last 7 decades, I think Govind Steel
Yes.
has been leading the game.
Yes.
So thank you, Mr. Gaurav Seksaria.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. Give us a little bit about the background of Govind Steel and the founding story and how you landed up today here being one of the world leaders in manhole covers.
So in the 1950s, my grandfather started the foundry.
Okay.
He came in from Bombay, and that's the time we bought the land, and he set up the foundry. We started with making castings for the steel plants, making ingot molds, bottom plates,
Okay.
slag pots. They were all big and heavy castings. And
Right.
then at the young age of 16, 17, my father entered the business, and he started the export of manhole covers to the US.
Okay, so manhole covers was not the initial founding story.
No, it wasn't.
All right,
So-
that's why the name Govind Steel.
Yeah, so the steel came in just, because it's iron and steel.
Okay.
So the name steel came in.
Okay, right,
But we are not into steel castings.
right,
We are into iron castings, making gray and ductile iron
Right.
castings.
right. So what were the first decade, second decade, third decade like before you joined? Like how did the company pick up speed before you?
So, just to give a background, when the company started, 1958. So the first 15 years was just selling the big and heavy castings.
Okay,
It's in the early 70s that when my father came into business, is that when we started export of manhole covers, and it is through the EEPC we got the clients inquiries, and my father flew to the US, and that's how
Right.
the business unfolded.
right, right.
And since then we've been making manhole covers.
Ever since, no looking back.
Yeah.
No looking back. So when you joined the business now, this was I think in the year early 2000s.
Yes, 1999 to 2000.
2000. So what were your first initial days like? How did you get interested in the industry first of all? Because to join the industry also was a big step for you.
It's a family owned business. So, right after class 10, class 11, on weekly holidays, on the long breaks we used to get,
Right.
I used to come to the office and to the foundry, started learning the work. And the first few years were tough. Foundry business is not an easy
Correct.
business. Learning about the metal, whether it's soft or hard, and how you plan the charge mix, and how molds are made, why castings are rejected, finding the cause of the casting, seeing the casting, and the experienced foundry people can
Correct.
say why the castings were rejected. So learning all that. So the first 4 5 years was more about getting the basics of the foundry done.
Correct. So you were spending time probably in every department.
Spending a lot of time on the on the
Right.
shop floor, in the cupola, on the
Right.
molding floor, talking to molders, talking to supervisors. So it was a lot of learning
Right.
happening in the first few years.
And I think that's also something that you are mainly about. Like you also told me that spending time on the shop floor is the most important thing anyone can do.
It is very, very important.
Right.
You have to know the basics of the foundry to run a foundry.
Correct. Correct.
Yes.
So when you joined, what was the foundry like, and what were the next couple of 5-7 years like? Expansion after expansion.
The first few years were just, we just had floor molding. We used to make manhole covers, and it's in the 2009 2010 when we thought of expansion into ductile iron. We put up our induction furnace. We bought a molding line
Right.
from Europe, and that's how the expansion started. We put up new shot blasting machines and put up a brand new sand plant. We got it from IRIC, which is the world's best,
Right.
and that's how the expansion started. And once that started, there was no looking back.
Right. You also told me that your molding line, you made a mistake which you would not repeat again with the molding line. So tell us about that process. Your first one in.
So we bought a used molding line from
Right.
Europe. We had a choice of buying a new Joule squeeze machine or the choice of buying a used high pressure molding line.
Right.
We chose the high pressure molding line because we knew that the Joule squeeze machine will get obsolete
Very
in
soon.
5 7 years. Though it was a used line, but it wasn't used much. But the problem was all the paperwork and documentation was in German.
Right.
So to translate that and to put up the line together, it took us about 15 to 18 months,
15-18 months just to
which
get it
was
started.
which was time lost.
Right.
So that's the problem we faced.
And you wouldn't repeat that going back
I
again.
wouldn't repeat buying a used line again.
Right. But you also told me that that line is still running today.
It's still running today, and it's running quite well.
Right. So that also shows the durability.
Yes,
That's great. And just to note down, you've gone today with you're running 4 high pressure lines,
4 high pressure
and
lines.
this has been hardly in the last 15 years, right?
Yes,
So there's been tremendous growth in the company. Like it's very, if you tell some people that you've acquired 4 high pressure lines in the last 15 years, it's tremendous growth just to begin with.
yes, we have.
So what would you attribute that growth to? Like what do you think you all did differently compared to other
So
foundries?
it's just demand of the market, and we wanted to expand.
Right.
So in 2018, 2019, just before COVID, we put up our second foundry at the Foundry Park, where we put up 2 high pressure lines with induction furnace. And just this year, we set up a third line out there. So it's just market demand for castings.
Right. So basically, you would attribute it to choosing the right product,
Yeah, yes.
doing your market study.
Oh, yes.
Also, I think you're a big, you're high on data today. Like you collect a lot of data and you drive a lot of decisions from data. So has that always been your process going back in the last 15 years?
No, that's not always been my process. I did this business coaching course. It's in the 9 month course based out of the Delhi. I did that in 2023.
Right.
And since then, we started with all the systems we put in place, all
Right.
data collection systems. We started getting a lot of data, a lot of reports, and a lot of our decisions now are based on the reports that we get. Which machines to buy, which size to buy, where we are spending more, where we should be cutting our cost, where should we be saving more money, or where the foundry can improve the efficiency. We get a lot of that information through the data.
Right. Right. So let's go into manhole covers a little bit because I think we are in Calcutta, which is of
Yeah.
course the hub for the world for manhole covers. So why do you think this happened? Like, why did manhole covers the industry expand so much just in this one region?
So I think it has more to do with the skilled manpower that we get. In the late 60s, early 70s, there was hardly any machine molding or probably no machine molding. So all the moldings used to happen through manual labor and molders. And Bengal is known for its skilled manpower. And I think that's the reason why a lot of or most of the manhole covers are made in Calcutta,
Right.
in the Calcutta area. But since 2010, since machine moldings came in, a lot of foundries are making manholes through the machine made route. So they
Right.
are
So the
faster, they are more
dependency,
efficient, the quality is better.
correct. So the dependency on skilled manpower, you said, will be
Will
decreasing.
get less and less in the
Right.
coming years.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And I think it's also a case with all other industry hubs in India. Like you have automotive in Kolhapur, you
Hmm.
have investment castings in there. So
Hmm.
it's probably the industry ecosystem
Yes.
that is also
Right.
favorable over here. Right. So what innovations do you think are coming into the manhole cover business? Like maybe some like high pressure lines. Of course, you've gone to some level of automation. What else are you doing to make the best manholes for the world?
So we are actively looking at redesigning our manual covers, making them bolt tight, making them anti-theft. A lot of new designs are coming in. We are all the time changing our designs for my manual covers.
So the demand is still going very strong.
The demand is still very strong.
And what is this demand mainly driven by? Like, what countries do you think are leading the way in demand, and where's the demand going?
And in the North American countries, Europe, and the Gulf countries,
Right.
these are the three major markets we are in. We are actively looking at going into Africa and Australia. Those are new markets for us. And the demand is based on infrastructure, construction, and the housing market.
You mainly said Middle East also is a very big market for
Yes,
you.
it is.
So is that do you see that growing in coming period?
Middle East market is a very strong market.
Right.
It is growing. A lot of people are shifting to Middle East, and which is driving the housing market, which
Right.
is driving the infrastructure boom for that market.
Right. Right. So what about alternate grades? Like you went into ductile iron, I think in 010, 011.
Yes.
Today, what would you say? Is there any shift in grades happening with the manual covers?
No, not really. Manual covers are still made in two grades of iron, gray iron and ductile iron. There is a slow shift from gray to ductile iron, but these two are the only grades of manuals that
Okay.
the market demands.
Has ductile iron overtaken gray iron today in your production?
Yes, it has.
Okay, so you're
Yeah,
making more
I'm
ductile
working
iron
more ductile than gray.
than gray iron, and this would
Yes,
have been gradually over the last 15 years since you started.
last 5 7 years. Yes,
Okay,
the change has
so it's a
happened.
very strong push.
Yes.
What about alternate grades like bronze and brass? Are they coming into drain covers and manual covers?
No, they are not. They are very
Okay,
specialized metals. They are used maybe in special applications where they require anti-rust features, and they are used more for decorative manuals at
okay,
airports and shopping malls
okay.
and high-end housing.
So that's the only application that you see for
I think
bronze.
so. Yes.
Right. So manual covers is, as I think being conquered by Govind Steel. Now you're going into railway castings also, which you've I think done over the last 10 years. So talk a little bit about the railway side of things and how the Indian growth is maybe contributing to that sector.
So when we put up a high pressure line, we were looking at some other castings to make. So apart from manhole covers, and railway was the first choice that came. And with Mr. Modi coming in, there's been a big push in the railway sector, putting in new coaches, new wagons, a lot of new railway lines. They've put in a new dedicated freight corridor just for freight trains.
Okay.
So a lot of casting requirement has been there in the railway and will continue to be there. So we've gone into a few items for the railway sector
Okay.
to feed our machines.
Right. So do you think that's growing faster than your manual thing? Like, is the focus shifting?
No, I don't think the focus is shifting.
Right.
Manual covers has its separate market and railway has its separate market share.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And speaking of slight diversifications, you also gone into fabrication.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that process of going into fabrication.
So the thought was to add new items to make, but with the same customer base or the same market. So a lot of my customers deal in fabrication as well, and it was a low-hanging fruit which I could grab. So the same customer base, just add a few machines and start making fabrication items.
Right.
So that's what we've got into.
Right. Do you think that's one of the things that maybe separate you from other foundries? Because today foundries mainly, earlier prehistorically they made castings basically. Today you're actually making a product. You're aiming to go closer and closer to the value chain. Is that something that's separating you from other companies?
See, the thought is how can I fulfill my buyer's requirement with all the items that he is buying? So just not from the casting point, from some specialized engineering
Right.
items, some fabrication items, or some industrial castings. So stuff that we don't make also we outsource that and we supply it to our customers. So they have a one-stop solution with us.
Right.
So that's the thought process been.
Right. And some of these customers you also told me, I think, are 49-year relationships.
49 years old, yeah.
So I think that's
So
first time I heard that anywhere.
yeah.
So how is that relationship matured? Like how have you maintained that?
So it has a lot to do with trust. We've been dealing with our customers, with a few customers now for 49 years. Next year will be our 50th year with them, and it's all been about the trust and honesty. They know us very well, we know them very well. We've been through with them in the thick of thin of times, so they know they can trust us, and we know we can trust them.
Right, right. That's really commendable. I mean,
Yep.
generational old relationships
Yes.
which you are maintaining today.
Yes.
So that has been amazing. So talk a little bit about the Chinese expansion which came 20, 30 years ago and today. Like how is China affecting your business, or is it even affecting the manual cover business in India?
So China was affecting the business in the 1990s or the early 2000s. But since then, due to China's growth, they went all out into making value add castings and they left the manhole cover business. So that's the business that came to India.
Right,
And right now, as such, there is no competition for manholes from China.
right, right. So you don't see China as a threat anymore.
I don't.
Right. You also told me that your high pressure lines, two of them are Chinese made machines,
Yes, they
vertical
are.
lines, I believe.
Yeah.
So, talk a little bit about your maybe relationship with Chinese manufacturers and how did that grow into where it is today?
So when we were putting up a new foundry at the Foundry Park into 2017, 2018, that's the time we went to China to have a look at the Chinese foundries, how they run. And we saw that most of them had vertical lines and making manual covers for the domestic market. And we were quite happy seeing the way those machines run, the quality of the castings, and the speed in which they were running, and with how less manpower the machines were running. So that's the time we decided that we'll buy those machines for our new foundry.
Right. So, just very quickly for people who don't know the difference, what would you say the pros and cons are for a vertical versus a horizontal machine?
So it depends from item to item. The horizontal machine is good for big and heavy castings. You can make 100, 150 kgs of castings
Right.
from a horizontal line. In a vertical line, the weight range is about 40, 45, 50 kgs of castings.
Okay. So
So
slightly
weight
lower.
weight is a big factor difference between vertical and horizontal lines.
Okay. I think also the speed you mentioned is much faster with vertical lines.
So vertical lines can go up to 150 moles an hour to 300 moles an hour. A horizontal line would start at 50 moles an hour, go up to 100, moles an hour with the best machines. So the molding capacity is also a big difference between vertical and horizontal lines.
Right. How are the Chinese machines faring on the reliability and service factor? Because now, after the COVID era, since technicians can no longer travel here, how have you been keeping up with that?
So it's been a challenge. For some spare parts, we've had them developed here locally. Some spare parts we need to call by air freight, so that we are doing. With the Chinese service, we do video calls with them, and that's how we get the service from them.
Right.
But the good thing is now they are starting
Visas.
travel again
Yeah.
between China and India, so that should help out.
Right. So, what are some technologies disrupting the foundry industry today? Like you went into high pressure lines earlier, and that has dramatically changed your trajectory of the company. What would you consider today as to be new technologies that you would consider?
So I think we are actively looking at ways to finish our castings in terms of grinding and fettling of castings,
Okay,
whether we can add any automation in that. Right now it's the manual process, but in the years to come we will have to add machines or robotics or something to get that work done.
right. What do you think about the robotics? Because I think at this recent IFC there was
Hmm.
a lot of display of robotics. What is your take on robotics right now? Are they ready, or is it a developing technology that you see?
I think they are ready. What
Okay,
the cost was 5 7 years back, right now the cost has drastically come down.
right,
It is just that who's going to take the first initiative to set up robotics
right,
at the foundry.
right. So that's something you're actively considering,
Yes, yeah,
right? And mainly in the department of fettling,
yeah.
right? So, do you think that the quality standards of manual covers are increasing? Is that why you're going into maybe automation of fettling, automation of different types of molding? Like, how has that quality shift or demand by customers changed over the
Oh,
last
they are
couple of years?
drastically increasing. They want better surface finish. They want good metals. They want packaging to be very good. They want special paints on their covers,
Right.
and they want the look of the casting to be good.
Aesthetics mainly is an
Yes,
important part.
yes, it is.
And what about on the area of traceability and everything? How do you like? How can you identify a Govind Steel manual cover anywhere in the world?
So all of our castings have either a company ID on them or the company brand name on it, and each of the castings has the date and heat code. So we can trace back our castings 5 7 10 years back.
Okay,
So when
to a
this
single
cast
heat.
to a single heat, yes.
Wow, is that something that has recently changed, or you've been doing it all through?
No, we've been doing it since a long time, but now this demand is actively coming from
Correct,
all the customers
correct.
that they should be able to trace the castings.
Right, right. That's great. So, on the area of since we're on technology, what about data systems, IoT, maybe AI, Industry 4.0? What is your whole take on that matter, and how are you upgrading the foundry in those terms?
So we are actively looking at using AI into our systems. We have started with a few systems in our laboratory where we are using AI in that, but we are actively looking at new ways to put AI into our foundry systems.
Okay, so that's actively something.
That's actively something which we are looking at doing.
Right, right, right.
Yes.
So, where do you see Govind Steel in the next 5, 10 years? What is your vision for the company today? Because I think you as soon as you joined the company 20, 25 years back, you made dramatic shifts in technology and everything. So today, how are you driving the company forward?
So we want to be a 1,000 crore company in the next 4 or 5 years. We are looking at new markets, new product lines, and we will be adding more molding capacity to our foundries.
Right.
We will be replacing a few old machines with newer ones. So the upgrade will continue to happen, and the aim is to add new product lines and new markets to our existing portfolio.
Right, right. You're also very big on learning. I think that's mainly where you focus your area and time.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about this 9 month course that you just completed.
So the 9 month course was more about putting systems in place, so things happen without my follow up, without me being involved,
Right,
and that's really helped. It's changed the way I think, and that course has really helped me,
right.
and that's bringing a lot of change in how we do work at the foundry, how our reporting is, and how the reporting helps us to make our next decision.
Okay. So can you highlight some key changes that you made before and after the course? Like what was the day and night difference today?
So a lot of things, you know, new patterns that we make for customers. There was a regular follow up from me and from the customer. Now things are running on an auto mode. We have a lot of online systems where people are responsible to make sure that the work gets done. We have a person who follows up with the people that this is pending, this needs to be done. So a lot of my follow up work has gone down,
Right.
and the work gets done in an auto mode.
Right.
So there are big changes that are happening.
Right. So conversely, on the other side, today there are, I mean, India is mainly plagued by small and medium foundries, right? What do you see is something that they are lacking, which they are not doing, which you have used in the past to differentiate and expand massively?
So foundry owners have to learn. It's a constant learning process. I learn new things about the foundry every day, walking on the shop floor, seeing things, how
Right.
things are done, the mistakes we make, rectifying those mistakes. So it's a constant learning process. You have to learn all the time. Running a foundry is a capital intensive industry, so that is one of the bottlenecks, I think, which the smaller foundries could be facing.
Okay. And also maybe using willingness to adapt technology is that also something that you would
Yeah, so technology comes at a cost.
cost? Right.
Whether you're willing to do it or not
Right.
is the question.
Right, right. That's great. So, just a couple of rapid fire questions, I think,
Yes,
for
please.
fun. So, what is the heaviest manhole cover you have made currently?
620 kgs.
620 kg. So,
Yeah,
this must be like a massive.
it's a massive 4 feet and a 5 feet wide manhole.
Okay. And how many of these do you make
Oh,
a year?
lots and lots.
So, you make many of these big ones.
Lots. Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. So, I think what is the strangest country that you've spotted one of your manhole covers in, or maybe a relative or a friend has done so?
So Australia, because I've never sold a casting there, and somebody telling me my castings are there came as a
Okay,
really big surprise to me.
okay,
Some other customer must have shipped a few castings there,
okay.
but not directly by us.
So today, I think Australia you mentioned is one of your
Is
target
one of my
markets.
target markets.
Right,
Yes.
right. That's good. Just a side note: if anybody can spot a Govind Steel manhole cover anywhere in the world, do post it on LinkedIn and
Thanks.
tag Gaurav there, and he will give you a shout out. That's also
Yeah. Thanks.
so. I mean, just send me a photo of how it looks like, so we can put it out to the
Okay.
video,
I'll
so
do it.
everyone knows, to
I'll
look
do
at the
it.
ground. Because I think
Yeah.
this is a trend today.
It is.
People spotting manhole cover. I'm sure you do it when you're traveling
Yes, I do it.
extensively.
Yeah.
So, manhole covers sometimes are even square and rectangle. In your opinion, what do you think is the most effective thing, and what is there a shift happening from maybe circular to rectangle today?
So they are mostly round and square, and it depends from market to market. I feel round manholes are mostly used for water drainage and sewage. Square manholes are mostly used for utilities like electricity, gas, fiber optics, where they need more space to access the utility.
Okay,
But it depends a lot from market to market.
okay, right, right. So, what is your favorite machine at your foundry?
My four molding machines.
Four folding machine.
They are the best machines I have.
Right, right.
Yeah.
All four of them. You
All four of them.
treat
Yeah.
them equally.
Yes.
I mean, in addition to this is also the George Fisher machine that you have,
Yes.
which was your first machine. So that's
Yes.
also equally
That's
valuable
equally
today.
valuable.
Okay, that's nice to hear. Uh, do you prefer tea or coffee during long work days?
Coffee.
You're a coffee
Okay.
and black coffee.
Black coffee.
Yeah.
Always.
Why the black coffee?
No milk, no sugar. Keeps the fat away.
Okay, so you can have a lot more of it.
Yeah.
That's good because you're a workaholic, right? I asked you about actually tell me a little bit about work-life balance. What is your perspective on that? Because I think that's a large push for this generation. What are your views on the matter?
So I come to the foundry by 9:30 in the morning. I'm here till 4 or 5 in the evening. So it's a whole day at the foundry. My office is also in the foundry. So coming here every day. I have two foundries, so juggling between both the foundries. So there is really no city life, no city office for us. So it's just foundry 24/7.
And you also travel a lot because you spend an hour and a half one way in the car
Yeah, it's
almost.
about an hour 15
Right.
journey going and coming.
Right.
So spend a lot of time in the car.
Right. So you really have to love this business to
Oh, yes.
to be into it
Yeah.
completely. I think that is really shown in your growth completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is harder, making a perfect casting or finding the right sort of skilled manpower today?
Finding the right skilled manpower.
Okay, so that
Making a
is going
perfect
on.
casting is easy than finding the right people to do it.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So, what do you think the future of manhole covers is?
I think the future is bright. Future is good. India is one of the biggest markets where manhole covers are made, and India will continue to remain the biggest supplier for manhole covers.
Okay. But from a technology point of view, what do you see newest technology coming into manhole covers? Like, are there any upgrades happening?
No, just with the molding machines, newer ones come in,
Right.
faster production happens, your cost of production goes down.
Right.
That's the only change that's really happening.
Right. What about you mentioned? I think about maybe the possibility of implanting chips into manhole covers. Maybe there would be powered manhole covers. Do you think this is something that's coming up?
In the future, that could be an option. We have heard about putting QR codes into manholes,
Okay.
so the people can scan it and see what's inside the drainage
Right.
lines and all, when they were last maintained, when the next maintenance is there. So in the future, we could have solar panels on manholes as well.
Right.
So we'll see how that goes.
Right, right. So you're an established founding person today. It would be a disservice today I mean, to my audience, if I don't ask you what would be your message to the industry. Like, if a person today is maybe 20, 25 years old, 30 years old in the industry, what would you say to them as to maybe to achieve the growth that your company has?
I think the will to learn, spend a lot of time on the shop floor, and foundry is not an easy business, but it's a very interesting business. But the will to learn every day is the key for a foundryman.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Seksaria.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for your time
Yeah,
and all the best to Govind Steel and the
thank you,
road ahead.
thank you,
Yeah, thank you
thank
so
you
much.
very much.
Thank you.